From Judicial Watch, our friend Tom Fitton. Tom, thanks for coming back on the program, sir.
Hey, Cam. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year.
Happy Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well. And, boy, you got some interesting stuff under the tree. Hundreds of emails from Mark Glaze and John Feinblatt primarily. But your organization was looking for information, public emails between any contact between New York City Hall, other members of the administration, and Mayors Against Illegal Guns relating to the push for gun control last year.
Well, there's this massive campaign group that Bloomberg has founded, Mayors Against Illegal Guns. He's a key funder of it, obviously, and it looks like, as we suspected, it's being run out of the mayor's office, or was being run out of the mayor's office. I'm sure DeBazio would be happy to do it if he could. But we have documents from John Feinblatt, who is the chief advisor to Mayor Bloomberg for policy and strategic planning, and his criminal justice coordinator, and he's communicating with Mark Glaze, who is the purported director of Mayors Against Illegal Guns. And looking at these emails, you have to wonder who's the director and who's the employee, because Feinblatt at one point writes under these emails, I must have some metrics. We are pouring money into this effort. Who's we? And I can't answer the most basic questions: money raised, petition sent, names acquired, etc. This is a government employee sending it to this outside lobbying group. This is, unfortunately for the tri-state region, there's a scandal on both sides of the George Washington Bridge today. And, of course, the media is going to be focused on Chris Christie, with some good reason. But Bloomberg seemed to be running this lobbying operation out of his taxpayer-funded office, which violates all sorts of rules and laws. And it shouldn't have happened, and there needs to be an investigation.
All right, so you have to wonder, first of all, what will change now that Bloomberg is no longer mayor?
Well, DeBazio isn't giving money to the MAG, unless he's continuing to allow them to work in their offices, which is what many cities are doing, which is having this lobbying group work in taxpayer offices and getting the benefit of taxpayer-funded equipment, facilities, and other support. Bloomberg is the big money guy for Mayors Against Legal Guns. They will continue to push, but there's got to be accountability for his misuse of office and his employees' misuse of public office and converting public resources to the personal benefit of Bloomberg's, hobby horse, which is this anti-gun group that's involved in political campaigns. This is a lobbying effort that was indirectly funded, and it looks like even more so directly funded by the taxpayer. If an employer for the taxpayer, or an employee of the taxpayer, is writing this lobbying group saying we're pouring money into it, like I said, who's the we? Is it Bloomberg's personal fortune, or is it taxpayer dollars? And either way, there are whole sorts of questions to be further asked. And, I will remind your listeners that we didn't get these documents voluntarily. We had asked for them. The mayor's office stonewalled, and we sued in court. And it's only because of a lawsuit did we get these documents. So it was a victory for the rule of law here, and it shows you that you can fight City Hall. And now we have to figure out what the next steps are in terms of investigations as to what resources were misused here.
All right.
And I would appreciate any efforts that you can bring to guarantee pressure be brought to bear there.
Well, I will certainly do what I can. And I got to say, Tom, I've been looking at these emails. Started last night, been looking at it today. I've not gotten through all of them. And you have found really it's a wealth of information. And it should be, obviously I'm interested from the gun control perspective and from the, big nanny Bloomberg perspective. But, people who are interested in how government works these days, I think would be fascinated to see and to read these emails. It really struck me that, in the hours within the first 24 hours after the murders at Sandy Hook, Tom, you had, all these emails flying back and forth, coordinating celebrities to appear in PSAs. And there's already, within, 48 hours, there's already some fighting over these celebrities between the Mayors Against Illegal Guns group and the Brady campaign group, and egos are involved, and I mean it was kind of fascinating to read this stuff.
Yeah, a little bit sad, a little bit creepy, a little bit shady, and to see them desperately trying to position Mayor Bloomberg to best take advantage of the mass murder of little children in Connecticut is, I think that compares in gravity with emails shutting down traffic in Fort Lee.
Yeah, and again, at the same time, they're already laying out their attack on the NRA. You obtained a poll that was conducted. I don't know actually if the poll was conducted, but there was a list of the questions that Doug Schoen was going to be using for this poll for Mayors Against Illegal Guns. They were trying to massage the messaging and try to figure out the best language to use, and they have a whole section of NRA attacks, I think is what they said, NRA attack research or something like that. What NRA argument testing, there it is. So a series of questions that they were asking people in this poll so they could design, and again, this was done December 21st. This was done a week after Sandy Hook. So they could figure out the best phrases to attack the NRA and gun owners.
Well, that's right, and again, those are not private emails we obtained; those are government emails. The only reason we have them is because we sued the mayor's office in New York.
Yeah.
So you've got a public official being involved in this attack on a private association of American citizens, and again, this is the sort of thing. Can you imagine if emails from I don't know, think of a friend of the NRA's in public office somewhere, where it looked like the person in the public had NRA lobbyists working in the government office and was ordering the lobbyists around. That's what was happening with Bloomberg and the Mayors Against Illegal Guns, and it's obviously improper. And we've only just begun in terms of we had to ask, we had to sue, we've got the evidence, and now we have to figure out what to do with the evidence to get more pressure to be brought to bear in terms of legal accountability for what went on there.
One of the other issues, too, Tom, we know that this isn't just New York City. We know that Mayors Against Illegal Guns has been able to place staffers in city halls around the country and, have these sort of regional gun violence coordinator positions. Is that another area? It sounds to me like, anyway, it seems to me like that's another area where local investigative reporters could be doing great work at uncovering these relationships.
Well, you know what? Your listeners should know it's not just reporters who can ask for information from the government.
All right.
Citizens under the state and federal Freedom of Information Act laws. In California, there are powerful state records laws, and in Florida as well. As a citizen, you can go online, figure out how to ask for requests for information of your city government. If you know there's a coordinator in your local community, you can ask what's going on there. And I say that in a general way, and your listeners are sophisticated enough to know that the question should be basic and simple. Give me communications, what's going on there. Give me money that's being spent. Just give me information about how these folks are operating on government property and what they're doing with government resources, and they're obligated under law to respond. And I suggest this is a good civic action for your listeners who are interested in this issue.
Absolutely. Listen, Tom, thank you again, sir, for coming on the program. I know we'll be having you back. And, before we let you go, I mean, were there any, again, out of all these emails, I know the Blaze had a really good piece, 5 of the most interesting things from the Bloomberg anti-gun group emails, but I found at least 5 more that I thought were just as interesting. I mean, were there anything, any particular emails that really stood out to you as an example of things that shouldn't be happening, the relationship between, government entities and these private concerns?
Well, I mean, I think in the end the headline remains what we started with, is that you had taxpayer resources being converted to the benefit of this Mayors Against Illegal Guns. It's not supposed to happen. It's not legal. It's not right. And we suspected it was happening. Now we have the smoking guns. So your listeners should go look at these documents and say, my gosh, if it's happening in New York, what are all these other representatives from Aerial Against Illegal Guns doing in my own city?
Yeah, absolutely. Tom, thank you again, sir. It's always good talking to you.
Thanks, Cam. We'll keep you abreast.